Welcome to the WRAL Daily Download. I'm your host, Amanda Lamb. 1 year ago this month, the unthinkable happened in Raleigh. 5 people were killed. Another person was critically injured after witnesses say a teenager opened fire on a greenway and in the neighborhood around that greenway. At the end of the working day, when people were exercising, cycling, walking their dogs. The suspect in the case, 15-year-old Austin Thompson, was also wounded in this situation. Now, it was expected his case would ultimately move from juvenile court to superior court, where he would face charges as an adult. As of Tuesday afternoon, this has not happened. WRAL reporter Chelsea Donovan has covered this case from the beginning and joins me with developments. Chelsea, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So let's just go back to that day, October 13th, 2022. Walk us through what happened if people don't have those details.
Yeah, I think you said it best earlier. It was really just a typical day for most people off after work in that big community in Hedingham. You know, people are walking their dogs on the trails, they're running, they're getting their exercise, they're using that greenway that kind of runs behind that area. We started to hear a lot of scanner traffic about multiple victims being found on the greenway. Fast forward, as you know, several hours later, it ended up that 5 people were murdered, 2 people were critically injured, and the suspect, a teenager, was shot himself in a standoff with Raleigh police.
And where has he been since his arrest, and what's been going on with the case? I know a lot of it behind closed doors.
Yeah, I wish we knew more about that, but the law protects him as a juvenile. So we don't know, what juvenile detention center he's been in. We don't know his condition, his physical or mental state. The DA has long said she hopes to share more information about that, but due to the law that protects a juvenile in this circumstance, there's just not a lot that we know about where he is or his condition.
Okay, well, we will be right back after the break. Welcome back to the WRAL Daily Download. So, we were talking before the break about the fact that this has really touched the community in a way that other cases have not, because there were so many victims. It was so high profile. The media covered it, including us, extensively. What is the DA saying about the case right now as it stands? Again, we are speaking Tuesday, late afternoon, early evening.
So as much as the district attorney wants to share with the public what's going on behind the scenes to move the case forward, unfortunately, state law prohibits her from doing so. And that, again, is just to protect the juvenile in this system. However, in speaking with her this week, we can only say, and kind of what she's told us is that, her words are she really expects to have some new information in this case, and what she says, is quickly forthcoming. So we can only surmise that could be that the juvenile, the suspected shooter in this case, Austin Thompson, would be moved to adult court. And what that would do is really open up sort of his file to the public, and we could see a lot more information that, for the last year has sort of been protected under the law.
Yeah, and for a lot of people who may not understand this process, like why isn't somebody just automatically charged as an adult? While this isn't unusual, it is happening because of a change in the law, correct?
Yeah, this happened several years ago. It's called, raise the age. And basically, 16 or 17-year-olds who commit crimes, they're no longer automatically charged in the adult criminal system. And so that is the raise the age law, as you mentioned. And so it's just a little bit different now that is into play. And so, like I said, there's a process that has to be kind of gone through for this in terms of a juvenile. And that's just part of the process. And unfortunately, it's not a rapid one. It's slow moving, especially with the backlog of the cases in the system and with the amount of evidence and testing that, is part of this investigation.
And I know there's been a lot of questions about where the gun came from. And of course, his parents are also victims in this situation because they lost their other son, his brother. But if the gun did come from their home and there is evidence that it was improperly stored, is there a possibility that they could be charged, or any other adults who had this, in their possession could be charged?
Yeah, we certainly asked that because just like you said, if it belonged to his parents and it wasn't properly stored, then they obviously would face charges, and we've seen that a lot. We point blank asked her yesterday, will the family face any charges? Because it's been long wondered how he got his hands on so many weapons. And she just kind of frankly said that she hopes that there will come a time soon that she can explain to the public and make announcements regarding that. So still sort of tight-lipped on if they will or will not face charges.
And when he is bound over to adult court, which again, we don't have any indication that's not going to happen. We just don't have the exact moment when that's going to happen. Has there been any discussion about when a trial could take place?
As you know, the wheels of justice move slow. And so typically in a murder case, from the point of being charged to the point of going to trial can take 2 to 3 years. And so from what she estimates, she doesn't think that it would go to trial until late 2025. So still just a lot of time, certainly, for this to come to fruition and put, closure for the victims and their families.
And for so many people in the community. Chelsea, thank you so much for bringing us up to date on this. It's a developing story. If there's any more information, it will be on WRAL.com. For more news from WRAL, sign up for the WRAL Morning Briefing newsletter. You'll be informed and ready to face the day with one concise email. Sign up at WRAL.com/newsletter. As always, thanks for listening to the WRAL Daily Download.